we're transforming energy for correct purpose. And largely what we're doing is taking unusable energy, which is selfishness and ego, and we're transforming it into nourishment for other people. So that's all we're doing. And we're doing that internally with our own attitudes first. And once we master transform our own attitudes, then our sphere grows larger and we're able to transform greater bands of energy collectively. And you'll start to, like a lot of you can feel it when you go to a different state. You ever feel that the state is different? You feel like Virginia is completely different than North and South Carolina.
So right.
As soon as you cross it, Virginia has so much less bondage than South Carolina, and North Carolina has less bondage than the rest. But where you go, you can feel it county to county. They have different personalities. You know what I mean? But it has to do with the energy fields, and that's what happened while you see Jesus traveling from town to town, because a part of his journey was to not only help, his journey was to transform people, and the people would transform the energy in particular environments. You know?
So there are personalities and powers.
Yeah.
And you, usually you are the principality of the power of control. It depends on your attitude.
Well, I would say you're the puppet of it.
The puppet of the principality, yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because it's this is the thing. We always say micro and macro, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, between micro and then let's say this is macro, there's a lot of layers in between, right? Okay. Now, this macro up here, this is micro.
Just so that one is trash.
Okay, yeah. No, count down. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
No, this was good.
Oh, okay.
Now, okay, this is the macro. This is the micro, right? Now, in between this, I'm just using examples now. I mean, in between here, it could be all kinds of principles. What's that?
Have you read in the Superpedia, the book about it, when Isaiah was lying on the couch and went into the other realm?
Mm-hmm.
There were layers that he had to go through.
Yeah.
And what happened from the 6th chapter of Isaiah up to about the 9th chapter, that was when he came back.
Mm-hmm.
What he saw was he went through those different layers that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And each layer that he went through, he had to do it with a word from Yahweh.
Yeah.
Is that a dimension you're talking about?
Yes. He had to go through it with his word from Yahweh. If he hadn't, then he would have been stuck in those worlds or lost his mind in root.
Yeah.
And when he came back, he said that I saw the Lord high and lifted up. Yeah. And that's when he started talking about coming on the side. From that point on.
And that's the process of correction. Now, any one of us, let's say this is us and this is the macro, right? In between can be these three powers and principalities. Okay? So one person can be affected by this one because of their disposition, by lust. Another can be affected by the ills of race. Another by gender. You see what I'm saying? If you're not connected to your Creator, right? Then that leaves space for you to be manipulated by other forces. This is why, what do we see people when they act out, and you say, why did they just act out like that? They became vulnerable at a certain point and were open to be influenced by something that was in the macro, in between the micro and the macro. So as we begin to go on our journey to become one with the Creator, or one with the energy flow from the Creator, as opposed to one from the energy flow that is in our environment, then we start to one by one correct different layers of this having infected us. You see? And then we begin to elevate step by step, cleansing the debris and the residuals from these different things. And that, that's rising by one of those words of Yahweh. Because what is one of the words of Yahweh? But it's one of the aspects of yourself. It's part of the Creator in you that you have to open up and correct. Y'all see that? So it's going through different dimensions of yourself. Those rooms with many mansions, those different places, cleansing out what blocked up those rooms.
And you got to do it with Ish and Misha. It takes both the masculine and the feminine to do it. Because if you don't, then you take the hay out of the issue. The hay is God. It's the name for God. And that's what makes it the difference between a fire or lust that's out of control and a passion that's under control because of the divine influence that's exerted upon it. And what happens is if you try the masculine side, to dominate everything, to rule it in a heavy-handed way, that's when we get out of whack. Because if you remember, it says that, and her name shall be called Eve. Eve is the fork in the road. So when you connect the masculine and the feminine, you got choices now. You can connect them for the purposes of redemption for mankind, or you can connect them for the purpose of selfishness that's going to put mankind in bondage. So it sounds complicated, but it's extremely easy when you stop trying to think through it and just allow it to happen. I think that sometimes we find it very difficult to escape our realm of academia. And we try to think through things when in actuality other field. When we're teaching, it is not for you to learn something in your head for you to regurgitate it. It's for you to feel it resonate inside of you. And if you feel it resonate inside of you, then forget trying to introduce it. You don't have to, because it will introduce you if you don't do it.
Any other thoughts or anything?
I was just going to say, I remember having a reading of someone that I didn't realize I could do that, but I saw them step on one of those.
One of the planes.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I was seeing. I mean, I knew a lot about the dream, but I didn't even realize that's part of what I was seeing.
And see, and that's what's so ill about it. All we're doing in here is giving context to the spiritual person that we already are. Y'all see what I'm saying? We're giving context to the experiences that we have through our dreams that are always speaking to us, or our impressions. This stuff is always taking place within us. All we're doing is giving context to the fact that we are operating at that level. We're clarifying it and clarifying our intentions so that we can utilize those experiences to help free ourselves and others. So that's what's very powerful about that. You know what? I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned this in that movie, but I want to share this. At the point when they were about to have the tree of life in the movie destroyed by the soldiers, the one dude says, "I'm going to go pray to this place where the trees could hear." And they said that the prayers went to the Creator. And he prayed, he said, "Look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need a miracle," basically something like that. And then the chick comes in, the alien chick comes in and says, "Yahweh only preserves the balance of life. He does not choose sides." Okay? So that was like, that's a crusher. You think that, man, prayer gonna work, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I love about that is later you see a different manifestation, because you remember what happened later. The creatures aided them in their battle, and she said, "Awa did hear you." Now, Yahweh, or the system of creation, does operate only to keep a balance of life, right? But when you have the same ideas, when you have the same heart as Yahweh, then you direct Yahweh. Y'all see that? Yahweh directs you as long as you just live. He directs the cycle of life and death. But Yahweh, or what we call the Creator, awaits for us to direct Him. Somebody had a hand up. Go ahead.
I was just thinking that we didn't have the right to expect there would be automatic deliverance, that was necessarily the best thing for everyone. And there was an acceptance that maybe we are about, maybe everything's about to be destroyed.